यस्त्यक्त्वा रूपमाद्यं प्रभवति जगतः अनेकधा अनुग्रहाय प्रक्षीणक्लेशराशिः विषमविषधरः अनेकवक्त्रः सुभोगी सर्वज्ञानप्रसूतिः भुजगपरिकरः प्रीतये यस्य नित्यं देवो हीशः स वो व्यात् सितविमलतनुः योगदो योगयुक्तः योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहुपुरुषाकारं शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणं सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिं श्रीमते अनन्ताय नागराजाय नमो नमः। पातञ्जलमहाभाष्य चरकप्रतिसंस्कृतैः मनोवाक्काय दोषाणां हर्त्रे अहिपतये नमः। Om. So, my dear friends, in the last week we discussed a very important sutra, that is Dukkha Daurmanasya Angame Jayatva Shvasa Prashvasaha Vikshepa Saha Bhuvaha. This sutra is basically explaining what kind of symptoms are visible in a person who is actually disturbed or who has some agitation in the mind, who produces symptoms of suffering, etc. And we saw how the different symptoms manifest through the form of what is called dukkham, which is emotional suffering, daurmanasya, which is a pessimistic attitude or a negative attitude where we are not positive, angame jayatva, physiological imbalances in the body where the body is displaying signs of illness or imbalances, disharmony, etc., dysfunction. And then shvasa prashvasa, which is basically the attitude of where the breathing is disturbed. So all these are basically the symptoms of somebody who is suffering, who is not in the state of yoga, who is disturbed, etc. You can say all of these things. Now what to do with that? What shall we do when there is all these symptoms? What should we do? What must one do? This is the question that logically comes forward, and that is why Patanjali presents the next sutra, which is a very beautiful sutra. Tat pratishedhartham eka tattva abhyasaha. This sutra is explained in a very nice and simple way. Tat pratishedhartham. Tat means that implies these disturbances or these kind of symptoms that we have, which are symptoms of suffering. Pratishedhartam, the word pratishedhartam is a very beautiful word, to remove, to kind of suppress the symptoms, to remove the symptoms. But it's not just in that removal, it's not just to counter the symptoms of suffering. And this for me is very beautifully described by Acharya Krishnamacharya, our teacher, who says what this word pratishedhartam means: heya guna rahita kalyana guna purnam. It's a very beautiful statement. I will explain it through a metaphor. Suppose somebody is there in the street begging because they don't have food, and their begging bowl is very dirty because they are living in the streets and it's very dirty. It has all the bad water from the streets because of rains, or it has a lot of dust that is accumulated, and maybe perhaps there are some damages. There is some cracks in the bowl as well, the begging bowl they have. Now, our job is, when we look at it, sometimes is not just to take the bowl, clean it for them and say, here, thank you very much, now you have a clean bowl, please go and beg. Our responsibility may be also not just to clean, but fill it with food after it is clean that is nourishing. Do you understand? This is a very big difference between, let us say, the yoga and Ayurveda system of healing compared to, let us say, modern medicine. In modern medicine, when we have symptoms of illness, we have cancer, we have migraine, we have so many other things, we are removing the symptoms and then saying, okay, we have removed your symptoms, now do what you want. Whereas in situations like yoga and Ayurveda, healing is not completed just because there is absence of symptoms of suffering. Healing is only completed when not only the symptoms of suffering are removed, but also positive, auspicious, good qualities are nourished. It's the same metaphor of the begging bowl. A beggar comes for help. Sir, please help me. My bowl is not clean, it is not working very well. We say, okay, no problem, we clean the bowl for you and give it to you. Now do what? Go and beg now with a clean bowl. Poor guy, he still doesn't have food. Instead of that, if we not only clean the bowl but also fill it with nourishing food, then he becomes strong, he becomes vital. And that is what is the meaning of this interpretation that Acharya Krishnamacharya says. Pratishedhartam means heya guna rahitam. That means removal of the symptoms or the causes for the suffering, but not only that, kalyana guna purnam, to fill it with auspicious attributes, positive attributes. When we are suffering, whether it's a physical suffering or an emotional suffering or a spiritual suffering, etc., we become dysfunctional. Our life is not able to do what it is meant to do. We cannot go to work when we have severe back pain or severe migraine. We cannot be in a good positive relationship with our children, with our wife, with our family when we are so much suffering from cancer or very severe heart attack or things like that. So it's dysfunctioning us. So healing or removal is not only removing of these dysfunction, but also to help function better, also to help improve our quality of life, improve our situation, so that our potentials manifest in a very good manner. We all are given very auspicious and positive attributes. In the yoga system, we are told and trained that each of us, we have positive attributes itself that are not necessarily manifesting but are hidden perhaps. Our responsibility in life is to help manifest that. That is what is the meaning of pratishedhartham, this sutra, because we should not just think that this sutra is removal of the symptoms of suffering. That's part of the job. It is also helping the manifestation of positive attributes. That is the other part that yoga and Ayurveda are insisting. For that to happen, Patanjali is presenting what is called Eka Tattva Abhyasaha. Eka Tattva Abhyasa. What does it mean? Abhyasa, the word means practice, to engage in something very deeply with discipline. But to engage with a practice that is Eka Tattva, that means one reality, one truth. That means what they say is, okay, there are many possible ways in which you can have a solution. You can go, when you have some back pain, you can go to a medical doctor, you can go to a massage therapist, you can go to acupuncture, you can go to a yoga therapist, you can go to so many different options. What Patanjali is saying is, he is not saying don't go to any other option except yoga. He actually does not say this at all. But rather he says, choose one option and stay with it. Rather than putting your feet in too many puddles of water, dive deeply into one path, so that will remove your obstacles in a deep and profound manner. Find one path and stay deep with it. When I was learning this sutra, my father, my teacher, explained this through two very interesting metaphors. It's the metaphor of, let us say you want to reach a goal. You stay in one path rather than start a path, then go somewhere else, then go somewhere else, then go somewhere else. And he gave this through two metaphors. One is the metaphor of climbing the mountain. So we want to climb a mountain. So we take one path to climb. We take the northern side of the mountain, we climb a few steps, maybe for half an hour we climb, and then we think, oh, it's too complicated, it's too difficult, let me come down. Let me try it from the south side. So we go to the south side, then we climb up once again, half an hour, 45 minutes, then we say, oh no, this path also is not easy, let me come down, let me try from the east side. We climb another half an hour, we get tired again, then we say, oh no, this is not working out for me, we climb down. So we try different paths a little bit, we still are not yet at the top of the mountain. But what happens? We are so exhausted, we get tired and we give up. Rather, if we had put all that effort in one direction and we go always towards the top, irrespective of which path we are choosing, at the top we reach the summit. Now it does not matter whether you came from the south, whether you came from the north, whether you came from the east, does not matter. The moment you reach the top, the view is the same. You have the whole view which is the same. So it does not matter which path you are choosing, because the destination is going to give you the same experience. That's the same for our health as well. It does not really matter which journey we are taking, as long as the destination is same. The destination does not change. We are clear about that. Each one can go in one path that is unique to us. The other metaphor my father also gave in this context is the metaphor of going to the center of the earth. Now we have earth is a circle, luckily a sphere, almost, not perfect but almost. Now you start digging a hole to reach the center. You dig for about 100 kilometers and then say, oh, doesn't work, so I go to another place and start drilling. Doesn't work, I go to another place, start drilling. Oh, doesn't work, I go to another place, start drilling. Eventually your driller will get, not any more sharp but blunt, and then it's not working. You still have not reached the core. Whereas if you had stayed in one point and drill, go on and on and on, eventually you will reach the center. It doesn't matter in which direction, which place you start searching, ultimately you will come to the same center. That is and it's the same metaphor. Irrespective of which tradition you want to follow, which religion you want to follow, which philosophy you want to follow, ultimately all of those lead you to the heart, to your inner core. And therefore, it is worthwhile for us to dive deep into that process rather than say, oh, I will go a little bit here and then a little bit here and then a little bit here. Your energy will be wasted and you will still not reach your destination. The symptoms will still remain. We get burnt out, we get tired, we get exhausted, and that's why in the modern era we have so many problems with burnout, with stress, with autoimmune disorders, etc., chronic fatigue and things like that, because we are not able to make a commitment deep into this path. This is one way of understanding this concept. So, what Patanjali is offering us is a solution where he says choose one method and go deeper. There is another way to interpret this sutra, Eka Tattva, one reality. This is very, very important, one reality. What is the one reality? It is our own individual experience. In our human species, we compare ourselves with everybody. Why my journey is different from somebody else's journey? Another person's journey looks easier. Mine looks so difficult. I can tell you, nobody's personal journey is easy. I have not met one person whose personal spiritual path has been easy, to go deep into their heart, to remove their problems at the physical level, at the emotional level, at the psychological level, at the spiritual level, and find their own truth and express their own potential. This is not easy for anybody. And it is not the same for anybody. It's not the same for everybody. We are not the same. We all are different. We are coming from different parents. We are coming from different cultures. Even if we are coming from the same parents, we are coming from at different times. We have different experiences of our life. So, Eka Tattva also means one reality, that is the one reality of our journey, our experiences. That's why we have to remember very clearly that even though we may all share a common goal, we have to respect our individual journeys. Some of you are all coming to India first time, some of you have come second time, third time, etc. Some of you are living in India now. But even though it's the same India that you are seeing, Chennai is the same for everybody, your own experience of that is different. Your own experience is different. 100 people go to the same temple, each one's experience is different. 100 people go to a museum, each one's experience is unique. So that is why even though the goal, there is commonality in the goal, the individual journey must be respected, and we have to dive deep into our own individual journey. We cannot go into somebody else's journey. That is also what Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says. We have to focus on Swadharma, not Paradharma. We have to focus on our own responsibilities, our own realities, not somebody else's, because we will never be able to see the entire reality or the entire experience of another person. It's only their reality, their perception, their experience that they can see. And Krishna even says in the Bhagavad Gita that trying to live another person's reality, paradharmo bhayavahaha, it is scary. If I have to try and live somebody else's reality and do what another person is doing, that is scary for us. There are so many people who come and ask me, oh, why are you not like your father? And I always ask them the same question, are you like your father? Would you like to be like your father? And they say, no, 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 no. Then they don't ask me any further the same question. And even when you look at my own father, my father was so different from his own father. Nobody can be the same, even though the journey may be common. The experiences and the realities are different, and we have to dive only deep into our own process and not worry about what processes other people are going. For us as human beings, it is so easy for us to be nosy and worry about other people's journeys and forget about our own journey, because it's difficult to have our own journey because it's not easy, painful. Individual spiritual process is very painful. We have to see our defects, we have to see our dark sides, we have to see the parts where we are scared. These are all important things we have to see, not just the positive, because there's also many dark things that are inside us. When there is light, there is always shadow. So we always have two parts. We have a part that is full of light. We also have a part that is not so full of light, that is got some darkness, and we have to dive deep into that. But we are scared, or we are very egoistic. We only want to look at our positive, so we don't want to go very deep into us. We always want to focus on other people's reality. That is not Eka Tattva Abhyasa. That is Paratattva Abhyasa. You are following the reality of somebody else, and that is not useful for our own evolution. See the difference between yoga and some other systems of health and healing is yoga is a self-empowering process. I cannot do headstand so that you feel better. You cannot do shoulder stand so that I feel better. I cannot do pranayama so that my daughter feels better. We cannot do that. Each one of us can do all these abhyasas, practices, so that we feel better. We cannot do it for somebody else. This is a very important reality we have to accept, and there is no way we cannot accept this, because this is the reality. If you look around, nobody is the same. We are all different at the physical level, at the emotional level, at the spiritual level. So Eka Tattva also means to go into your own self and follow your path at a very deep level and not worry about so many other paths as well. This is another dimension of the concept of Eka Tattva Abhyasa. There comes another very strong idea about what is called as Eka Tattva Abhyasa, especially according to Acharya Krishnamacharya and other masters of the Visishtadvaita tradition, which also becomes very, very important for us to understand. In the Vedic philosophy, we have what is called reality, tattva. Now, there is one reality that always remains one, and there is one reality that is not remaining one, it keeps changing. That is what is called Aneka Tattva. It mutates. But there is one principle that does not change, that is not mutating, that's not changing. So in the Vedic philosophy, they say that which is changing into many realities, this is matter. One day something is a big giant tree. It's a reality, it's a tree. One day that tree is dying, or somebody kills the tree and makes a chair out of it or a table out of it. That is the next reality for that tree. It's no more a tree, it's a table. That table is used by a family or generation of families for 2 or 3 generations, and then that table also starts disintegrating. So what happens? It becomes dust, sawdust, becomes dust. And that's the next reality. So this is what is called the mutating principle. It changes reality. Matter always changes reality. This is what is called Aneka Tattva, the principle of many. It's the same with us. We are not the same, we are always changing. At one point we were a small infant baby, very cute, very lovable. Then we grow into a teenager, very rebellious, creating a lot of problems for our parents, fighting with them, arguing with them, sometimes even ganging up to bully others, teenagers. So we change into that form. That is our reality. Then we become mature, we get a job, maybe we start having our own family, then we start realizing the value of our parents, the value of responsibility, the value of education. We change into another reality. Then our children become older and they have children, we become grandparents, another set of relationship, another form. Body is also changing. What was our body when we were young is not the same when we were teenagers. It's not the same when we are adults. It's not the same when we are very elderly people. So the reality is mutating for us, the body. There is matter that is mutating for us. This is what is called Aneka Tattva. In the Vedic school they are saying, but we are not just matter, we are also what is called spirit, consciousness. We are the observer, and this observer, there are different schools. One set of schools say it is the individual self. Another set of school, they say that this is the divine principle. You can call it God or you can call it nature, nature's supreme principle. There is a divine principle, that which does not change or that which transcends change. When we are so strongly associated with matter, we suffer. Why? Because we get attached to matter. Materialism is causing us a lot of suffering. That is what Patanjali is saying here. Do not associate yourself with matter. Ekatattva abhyasa. Practice the principle where you are linked with that which is not changing. Be it the light in your heart, the consciousness, or be it the supreme principle, what we can call the supreme principle, the divine. Because the matter is what creates problems for us, because it's changing, it's mutating, and therefore it creates suffering. That's why we are suffering. We have an attachment to matter. And in the modern era, we have become so materialist. We have become such strong materialists, which is really very, very dangerous, because we even remove spirit out of the equation, because in a modern era we are living in a society where reality should be measurable. If reality is not measurable, it's not accepted. Science rejects the spirit. Medicine rejects the spirit. Medicine rejects prana. But yoga, Ayurveda are all under many of the Chinese systems of healing like Tai Chi, Reiki, etc. They're all based on prana, energy. And they've existed for 2000 years, 3000 years, and they've been helping people. But today we have become materialists, where if something is not measurable, we don't believe it as a reality. And that's why we suffer, because we don't see the other part. How can you measure the love a mother has for the child? It's not possible to measure. Does it mean the mother does not love the child? The same way, there are many principles that cannot be measurable, but they are still real. So what Patanjali is saying is, focus on this Eka Tattva, the one truth that is beyond matter, because materialism is what creates suffering. We get attached to some products or people which is made of matter, and we want to have that relationship only. And I think that is the difference between how relationships were formed in the past and how we are having relationship today, Because in modern era we are trained to have relationship based on matter. In the old times it was a relationship based on spirit. I was just sharing a few days ago with some of my students how even, for example, an intimate relationship with a partner, a man and a woman, or between two people, was always looked at in our tradition as a spiritual relationship. When people would get married, the man and the woman would be elevated to the role of the god and the goddess, and the union of the two would be honored as if it was a relationship replaying the marriage of the god and the goddess. So when two people come together, it's not only at the body level, at the sensual level, but today most of us, we are relating with people at a matter level, at a material level. The body of the man or the woman changes, we are not anymore interested in that person. If the mind or the emotion of the person changes, which is also matter, we are not interested to be with the person anymore, we would like to run away. Because many of us, we are not really linking with the other person from the Eka Tattva principle, from the light in the heart. We are relating at a material level and not at a very deep level. And this is the same not only for, let us say, an intimate relationship between two human beings, but also between friends, between mother and child, between parent and child, between siblings. We are not relating at a very deep level. We are relating at it in a very material level. As long as we are able to have some benefit from that relationship, we want to stay. When the benefits are no more there, we start questioning what is the validity of this relationship. Whereas in the past, the Vedic method, and I am sure other philosophies as well, other traditional philosophical approaches also had this, that the relationship was not based on that, because they asked us to focus on the spiritual aspect that is part of each of us. There is a spiritual part in each of us. And why we suffer in the Vedic view is because we are disconnected from that part, because we are connected to the material part more than the spiritual part. This is what happens. This is what happens. Sometimes we don't know what gives us more joy, more happiness. Maybe the matter is able to give us a joy which is called ihasukham, joy at the moment. But the spirit is what gives what is called paramita sukham, eternal joy or sustained happiness. The principle that ends in many English stories, and they lived happily ever after, it does not really exist. Because life is full of a dynamic movement of positives and negatives. What is important is that we sustain through this life without getting shaken. And that is why Patanjali is presenting this sutra, Tat Pratishedhartam Eka Tattva Abhyasa, so that we can link to that principle which is deep inside us, which I would like to call it as the spiritual principle, that when we hold on to that, we are able to manage the ups and downs that the matter part of us creates for us. It's like when we are going in the ocean, Bhagavad Gita gives this metaphor. When we are going in the ocean, there is a boat which is going in the ocean, and the boat is going up and down because the waves are going. That's normal. It's not expected that the boat will always go stable. Up and down is normal. We have to hold on to that boat, we have to hold on to that mast or whatever, making that all these cloths open up in the right way so that we can navigate the boat through the ups and downs. That anchor, that which anchors us in this journey of life is the Eka Tattva, not the Aneka Tattva, not matter, but rather the spirit. And that is the deeper meaning of this sutra, Tat Pratishedhartham Eka Tattva Bhyasaha, which is a very important and very relevant sutra at this time, because in modern era we believe in multiple choices. We want this and we want that and we want this and we want that and we don't really enjoy any of this at a very deep level. I myself am not free from this. I am also a photographer, and I use nice old camera lenses from the 60s and 50s and all this. And sometimes when I look at my lenses and I am thinking, my God, I have not used this for a long time, I have not used this for a long time, because I have quite a few. And one of my inspirations is actually a French photographer called Henri Cartier-Bresson. He is a very amazing photographer. When you read his life story, he used entire life only one lens, and it became so much a part of him. He said it was almost as if it was an extension of himself. That is Eka Tattva Abhyasa. It becomes so deep that it becomes part of you. It becomes you. It's almost there is no separation. But in the modern era, we love choices. We are not happy with one car. We want to have two cars, one for vacation, one for work. We are not interested in having one pair of shoes. We want to have multiple pairs of shoes. We are not interested in one set of clothes. We want multiple pairs of clothes, etc. So we always want many, and we have been trained by modern era sometimes that more is better. The more options you have, the better it is. And sometimes that's why even with partners, we don't want one partner, we want many partners. We don't want one job, we want many jobs. We want to mix this and that together, and this becomes a bit confusing at times, and that is why we suffer. Whereas the traditional principle is saying the exact opposite. Well, you have choices to look at before you make the choice. Once you make a choice, stay with it. You are free to open your eyes and look at all the options in front of you, which actually in reality is not possible, because there are only so many options that is available at the time, because more and more options are coming every day. You can only look at what is possible now. Plus, we cannot see everything. We can only see what is in front of us and what we are able to see which is in front of us, because sometimes there are also things in front of us which we don't even want to see. So from opening the eyes to see all that is in front of us, you look carefully before you make a decision, and then you make a decision to engage. Stay with it. Do not get confused after that. That is what Patanjali is recommending. He doesn't say only one method is good, only yoga method is good, no other method is good. He does not say that. He says, please keep your mind open, please keep your heart open. Look what is suitable for you, what you deeply believe is suitable for you. Choose that consciously, choose that with lot of faith, and then stay with that until you reach the destination. This is what is the principle of the sutra. Tat pratishedhartham eka tattva abhyasaha.